First Mate Swanner, help! We've stopped moving.
Why have we stopped moving?
I don't know.
Well, look, since I'm here inventorying food rations, why don't you go check? If you have a problem, come back and let me know, okay?
First Mate Swanner, help!
What did you find out?
There's no engine on this ship.
Correct.
Well, then how were we moving before?
Did you notice those big white sails on the deck?
Yeah, they're very pretty, especially when the wind... Well, the sails filled up with air and it moved the whole ship.
So how do you think the ship was moving?
The sails were harnessing the power of the winds to help us along our journey.
That is a brilliant deduction. So what changed? Did the wind stop?
No. The cook took the sails to use as tablecloths.
That's not good.
Cook sets a very pretty table.
Do you have any ideas that might get us moving again?
Well, we need to get the sails back without making the cook mad.
And how do you think we can do that?
I'll go talk to the cook, but I have to be gentle. I know. I'll tell him a story about a sad little ship without any sails.
A sail is an important piece of equipment on any ship. It allows the ship to move forward in its intended direction. However, a sail cannot work on its own. It is reliant upon the wind to get it where it needs to go. It must harness the gifts of God in order to fulfill its intended purpose. Similarly, on their own, our students are like a ship, sails hoisted, waiting on the wind. They need to be taught to harness the gifts God has given them. What are those gifts? In a sense, each student has been uniquely gifted. But in another sense, there are common gifts given to them at this moment in their lives. Two specific ones I want to touch on briefly are the mind and community. God has truly blessed each and every student here at this school with a mind. Our job as teachers is to teach them how to use it to the best of their ability and for the glory of God. The manner in which we accomplish this is by going beyond content in any given subject area and teaching our students skills. Instead of feeding them information we expect them to regurgitate for a test, we teach them how to learn. The end goal of this process is to produce a student who is able to learn and think for himself or herself throughout the course of life, whether or not a teacher is present. As teachers, we don't want our students to simply be passive learners, sitting and listening while we fill their minds with facts. We want them to actively engage whatever they encounter, whether it's in the classroom or in the world. One of the biggest ways we teach our students here to do that is through questions. Questions enable our students to narrow down a broad topic to the bare essentials. In a discussion of justice, for example, a student might ask the questions, well, what's the definition of justice? Why is justice important? And how am I to take the concept of justice and apply it in my life? Or what does the Bible say about justice? By training students to ask purposeful questions, we are giving them a tool and a skill they can use to tackle anything they want to learn about outside the walls of a school. It is just as the old proverb states, give a man a fish and he will eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he will feed himself for a lifetime. We believe that if we give a child facts, they will learn for a test. But if we teach a child to learn, they will educate themselves for a lifetime. Though we can boast of small class sizes here, our students still must interact with their fellow students and teachers. Interaction with others is not limited to a school setting, but it's part of life in general. When relationships are good, community truly is a gift of God. But when relationships struggle, as they often do, community can feel like a nightmare. That is why we believe it is important to do more than just educate the mind. We must cultivate the soul. We must teach our students what it means to be godly men and godly women. How do we do this? The most obvious way is through reading and study of the Bible. However, we can supplement this through stories and historical accounts where godly character traits are portrayed and come alive right in front of our students. We want to train our boys to become chivalrous young men and our girls to become gracious young ladies. We emphasize things such as patience, peace, faithfulness, goodness, and truthfulness. Not only do these traits produce a well-run school, but produce the people God has called us all to be. God has gifted all of the students at Orchard Hills Academy. However, tied in with those gifts is a responsibility to use them for the glory of God. Our goal is to help each and every student find their gifts and to develop them so that they can impact the world for Christ. We want to cultivate the seeds and the abilities God has planted in them so that the students we teach today will become the godly leaders of tomorrow we so desperately need.